Okay, I put a tiny bit of the color in here in the sky and it's dry. Okay, good. So we have the underpainting. Now we're going to start adding color in. And I have my reference photos here that I use to draw the begin with. Right now I have my reference for the sky colors. I'm going to start putting that in, but I need to get these trees in first. So let me go with that. I'm getting my olive green, which is my nice dark green. You can also mix a nice green with black and yellow. So that's a good place to start as well, although I don't have any black on my canvas at the moment. If you have something like sap green, which is a popular color, you can add some burnt umber into it. I'm going, for the moment, I added some burnt umber in. We'll see where we are. Yeah. I want to lighten that a slight bit though because it's further in the background. So I'm adding a touch of white. And I'm going to get the general tree. Making sure that I am not repeating my shapes. Trying not to do too much of a similar shape here side by side. And we will go back in. You see the difference here between the dark that was pure olive and where I lightened it some. Keeping loose. And you see some of the orange glow coming through and I like that. Need to lighten this slightly so you can always darken again if you've gotten it too light. Not a problem. Check my values to make sure. And I'm using a large bristle brush. This is a line 8 and 8. Which I am comfortable using. Nice thing about a bristle is you can push it, as you see me doing here, and it won't destroy the brush. You don't ever want to do that with a sable. It will destroy the brush. Okay, got that in. I'm going to go back and get in my lighter. The further distant you go, the lighter and bluer it becomes. So while I have some of this green in my brush, I'm going to add some cerulean blue to it. And it's probably still going to be too dark, so I'll add a little bit of white to lighten it. It is further away. Still a little dark for my taste. We'll see. Do a little bit of medium here. Mix a little bit more. Didn't mix quite enough here. My cerulean is, not sure what the brand is, Winsor Newton, and it is very, very dry. It's not buttery like I like. So I bought some more that is a different brand. It's mayonnaise. I don't have time to look for it right now. But I have a different brand I just purchased. See if I like it better. I do like my paint to be buttery. But that's a personal taste. Still too green for me. It's still a little dark. So I'm working in more white and cerulean, or cerulean, depending on how you want to pronounce it. Let's see how that, we'll try this and see how that works. Again, now you can have this background trees a little bit more even because it is further in the distance. I like that to be a little grayer too, so I'm adding a touch of brown to gray it down a little. Or you can add a touch of red to gray it down a little. A little bit lighter. And over here, it's going to be a lot lighter because it's right where the sun is. Over here, it's going to be more purple because of the sunlight. And it's too red. I'm here mixing, and I don't have a second camera to give you a view of my palette, so I just need to describe it to you that I'm making a purpley too dark. To go where the sun is. And if we need to adjust that later, we can. Which I have a feeling we will. We'll make it redder and lighter. See, I just wiped that back a little bit. You know, took it right to the color I wanted. Okay, now you notice I've got trees drawn in here. I want this to be a little bit of a foggy morning, so I'm trying to gray out a lot of this. And the sun, let me lay that down for a second because I want the sun to be peeking between the trees. So let me get that sun where I want it first. Right. Not a distinct circle of sun, per se. Underneath of which are the red trees. Which I picked up a touch of Shiva orange. And a touch of the lizard crimson. And added to that purple makes a nice sun glow. I'm liking this. Spreading out slightly. More into the oranges and reds. Okay. Now I'll go back to my trees here. Now you can put solid trees like this, but why? If you feel comfortable putting in your trees foliage while still allowing the sun to shine, you can do a little bit of both. Always go back and add, take away. And your trees are reddish in front of that sun. So, when the sun is shining directly through, you need to be sure and get that correct as well. Okay, put this in, see what I have. Okay. Again, I'm doing this with a bristle. I'm going to leave that for the moment. And I'm going to come back to that. Alright, And we'll come back to that. Because I want to get some water in here. So I'm picking up a clean brush. Onto my water. Try some cerulean. What is that? I keep saying cerulean. I actually think that is manganese. Nope, it's cerulean. Looking at the water here obviously is not going to be bright blue, but it will be light. My water in the background will be very light. I'm taking cerulean, almost a greenish. It's probably still too dark. Yep, way too dark. Now I have my palette at a gray. I painted it a gray, a mid gray, which you can buy straight in a tube. It's called a neutral gray. You can use a neutral gray oil. This is Gamblin. You can use, for the back of my palette, however, is acrylic, and it is a neutral gray by Liquitex. It just helps you to see your, it's awfully bright, so let me gray that down. Actually using some of the gray that I used in the trees back there, and that gives you color harmony. Again, I'm using a bristle. This one's a number 4. A little bit lighter. And I'm making that very neutral back there because I don't want to pull your eye out there. I want your eye to stay over here. So you know it's water. Again, I want it to be a neutral color. And if you have it bright, it's going to pull your eye out, and we don't want that. You notice I'm going over this little spit of land. And it just blends it in and makes it look very natural, and it just sets right down in that water. You can always go back and add a little bit to it, which I will do. When I finish out the land here. Okay. I want this very muted. And it also has a shadow because the sun is behind. It's going to have a shadow there, so it needs to be dark. I added some of the green into it to give you the shadow. And yes, it will have shadow of the trees in there as well. Some. You don't have extreme because the sun is not that high to cause much. Just enough to look realistic. You can always add more later. Get this in. Before I go any further, I'm going to go up and put the sky in. So I'm picking up yet another brush. The sky is a cool, dark, gray blue at the top. The sky is always darker at the top than at the horizon. We want it gray, so I'm adding some of the red. I'm actually adding some of the tree line color in to gray it down. And it may still be a little dark. Yep. Testing it out. Probably just got it a little bit too light. But let's see. It's still pretty dark. I'm looking up, so I'm having a little bit of glare issue here. Yeah, it's definitely too dark. I need to stand up here for a moment. Some clump of something. I just got some brown in there. I don't want that. See what we do with this. Get this off. Went brown. That takes it too gray. And if you don't want glare in your sky, I'm actually going to do a technique called stippling here. It's a really cool technique. We stipple different colors, and it will give it a phenomenal glow. You may think I'm crazy here, but trust me, this is where it's tedious, but it is oh so worth it. I need a smaller brush to do it too. Let me go ahead and get that blue in at the top. mixing my colors in here. Vertical strokes keep you from getting glare on your canvas. Horizontal strokes, the light bounces off those sideways strokes and gives you problems. You always want the colors to be deeper on the sides, on the edges here. And you want the patterns on each side to be slightly different from the other. Again, I've got that pink in there. I will add even more colors here in a minute. I just want to get this corner in and across this top. To do the stippling. I'm going to stipple first with pink. I have some coral colors here that I'm going to use. You see the corals here. And you will go, this is absolutely crazy. Why are you doing this? But when you get it all together, it gives a glow you cannot achieve any other way. And it gives you a beautiful sky. Blending up into the blue. After this, I will use some yellow. I'm going further up in this sun area into the blue. Does that look crazy or what? But you will see why I did it in the end. This is a number 4 bristle. I know I wanted people to tell me what size brush I was using and what type of brush I was using, that they were using when I was studying. So I will tell you. I'm using more of the deeper coral here. And as I go out, it will be the lighter. I'm starting to use the lighter coral as I get further away. I'm not going quite as high with it. Again, we're getting further away from the sun, but you still have light here from it, back here in the distance. And I'll gradually lessen the color. I already put a little bit of coral here, as you can see. You can also see that I have still a little bit of blue in this brush. That's okay. Again, we do not want as much attention out here, so it will not be much. The other colors will blend into it, speeding it up a little bit. Now I'm going to get some yellow, and this is a light, intense yellow to bring in here and dot with it as well. I need to get some more. I don't have much on my palette. Used most of it. These are from Tuscan Pine. These are luminous colors. It's a set of 5. They're expensive, but they're worth it when you do a lot of sunsets and sunrises, as I do. They have basically more pigment, which makes them more intense. Little secret for you. Softening as it goes north or up into the sky. It looks really silly right now, like a child's finger painting, but trust me, when you blend all of this together, it becomes very luminous. I'm creating somewhat of a halo around the sun here, in among the trees, which I will get more of. Outward. Slowly fading out. More here. Now we will get a touch of sap green to blend with that yellow, or you can mix your blue in your yellow to get some of the green. because we know that when blue and yellow meet, they make green. With more yellow in it. And I turn my brush when I'm mixing these colors because one side can still harbor chunks of one color, and you don't want that coming off in your palette. Yep, vertically. More up here. You don't want to mute the yellow too much down here. No, I am not crazy, even though it looks kind of crazy at the moment. This is something I learned from the artist Cindy Barron. And it has made my sunsets leap by leaps and bounds. Credit where credit is due. Going into my blues again. Graying it down. If you're someone who likes to paint fast and get it done, this is not the technique for you. It requires a lot of patience. Some would call it more of a pointillism, which is small dots, blending. And I do not use it for the entire painting, only for the sky. When you get back, it gives you an unparalleled glow. You notice I'm bringing the blue down further when I'm away from the sun. You will do several coats of this. So again, if you're not a patient type of person, you don't want to try this.